Hey troops, how you doing? Good to see everybody. Welcome to my backyard. This is my Zen garden, as best I can do. But this week I thought I'd talk about self-defense with the cane. The reason I came up with this idea is because I was in the city last week on Friday, and I had to walk from the Port Authority to my office, which is about 17th and 5th from 42nd and 8th. When I hit to the Macy's area, you could look back and forth down 6th Avenue. I have a picture of it on Facebook, and there wasn't anyone at all. Hardly any police, hardly anybody. But there are desperate people there. There was a guy following me for a little while on the way back at night. People are very desperate. It's a really hard time, and some of them are sick. Some of them are junkies. Some of them are broke. It's a very trying time. Reminds me of the city in the 70s, going around, Times Square, when you needed to walk around with a couple of weapons in your pocket. That's why I thought about this. Now, if you want to know more details about security issues that are going on in Manhattan, then pay attention to my partner, Isan Pinto. Every Tuesday and Saturday, he does his Facebook Live. He goes through all the boroughs and really has all the figures and statistics, and it's a good thing for you to keep up with. And here in Jersey, all I can say is my son, he works at the psych ward in one of the hospitals here, and they have like a 70% rate of infection. And it's very difficult because he's the one that does security. He has to pin them down so the nurses can give them a shot, and they have the disease and they're not responsible for their actions. Very difficult to manage. But he comes home every day and he washes his clothes and he takes a 2-mile run and he builds up his defense system. That's what we want to do with the cane, build up the defense system. Let me just give a quick history of cane fighting. It's based on stick fighting. Before we had any other weapons, we had sticks and stones. Every society, every country has some form of stick fighting. Japan, you have Jiu-Jitsu and Hanbo Jitsu, Arnis in the Philippines, and you have white crane Kung Fu forms and short stick forms in China. You have the good old shillelagh in Ireland, and you have Matt Masterson. That's the United States. I don't remember the show, but people who had too fast a trigger forgot to figure on his lightning cane. All right, now having said that, let's first talk about the cane itself. Now this particular cane I have extreme sentimental value for, because it was designed for me by Ed Martin Papasan. He's one of the most amazing human beings I met in my life. And, he designed this. He had the Amish actually make it. You know how the Amish are very good with wood. And what they made this particular cane out of was hickory. This hickory is real light and real strong. So this is fast and strong. He's got a little point over here. It's kind of effective. It doesn't matter what cane you get. But my suggestion is to go out and find a weapon that feels right in your hands. Cane fighting, it was the gentleman's weapon. Cities hundreds of years ago were much worse than they are now. You had people always trying to rob the gentry, and also they were sickly as well, so the cane kept at a distance. That's the advantage. The other advantage of this weapon is you can legally possess this, and it's going to keep people away from you. It's a distance weapon. So let's begin. Your first thing is to be very aware of your environment. As soon as you're protecting yourself or protecting others, your environment becomes a battlefield, and all the rules of the battlefield will immediately apply, like deception, using deception, understanding distancing and timing, understanding your opponent's psychological state. It's all important. So be very aware of your surroundings. I'd like to start with just simply here, you just start doing a figure eight. Just blade your body, keep your elbows in, and nice and smoothly do a figure eight. You should, with a cane, keep what's called like a cotton hand, which is like a loose open hand, so it gives you way more flexibility with that cane. And you could be aiming for temple, 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 temple. And you can see, you get quite fast. Well, after you get a feeling of this, fast, slow. Just get the feeling of the balance of the stick. Catch it here. Now the reason why I'm saying that there's many places you can catch it, but in this place, this is a good place to catch it because your opponent can't see the length of my weapon here. That's very important. You can't see how long my weapon is, and if you can't see how long my weapon is, it's very difficult for you to judge what your safe distance will be. So once again, we're just blading body, swing, swing, hip, boom, boom, okay? What you want to do, we're going to first start with some strikes. We're going to start with ones that are not lethal, not lethal attitude. So the first strike would be bang, for the knee or for the ankle. It all depends. Make sure when you strike, you use your whole body, and make sure you move your body. Movement's very important. In this case, I'm going back at a 45-degree angle and striking, boom. Now I could strike midsection, maybe tip of an elbow, bang. So down, elbow, and then the head. Now the head, I would say either go for the cheekbone, the temple, or the hinge of the jaw, or the eye socket, okay? Try to be, try to pick your vulnerable targets. Koshi points each other. Bang, bang, bang. Then the other side. Low, medium, high. Okay, now, if you want to strike above, this one almost looks like a Broadway play, right? But it's very effective. And basically, I would just be like this, like with a Broadway play. But if you notice, when I strike like this, I have a really maximum use of my distance. And the other thing is, I have the added use of the gravity. And if I let the cane drop, it'll drop at a little, the gravity will make it drop at a little different timing than if I'm swinging or striking it. So when I come like this, I have the added thing of gravity. I can also come down and up like this, right? Very effective as well, right? Now, the other thing that you can do with the cane is you can poke. Many stick fighting styles, poking is probably the primary way they fight. So what you do is you take a position this, using your whole body, you'd spin this counterclockwise. If you see, counterclockwise. And once again, my body. When Musashi says if whoever uses full body is going to win, you've got to use, doesn't matter how big the person is. If you're hitting weak points and you're using all of your body, you're going to win. The other thing is if any of you people had high school fencing, a lot of those type of techniques can be very effective here. You can parry, riposte, parry, riposte, or you can disengage an attack, or you can beat an attack. All those things are they'll be quite useful to you if you did that. If not, you can always study fencing. Well, now we're up to well, let's see, double attacks. Okay, if I attack down for the ankle, what I would do is often with the cane, it's the rear hand that you want to concentrate on. So after I attack down for the knee, I just simply take this and I circle it to my hip. Boom. So 1, 2. And the reason being, if I circle my hip, my opponent's going to have a much less opportunity to feel my intent. Hiding your intent is very, very important, especially when you come to lethal strikes. For instance, this strike here, an overhead strike. It's very similar to Kenjutsu or sword fighting. You take this position here, and you try to come down, and you try to do it so your opponent can't sense it. So you try to be as relaxed as possible, take this position, or slowly, it'll be like this. Your full body. Now if you looked on the side, once again, the rear hand, very important, because the front hand's going to guide. So I come down, the front hand's just basically a guide, boom, a guide. But the rear hand pulls in, creating a lever effect. This is a stick, so levers are very important. If you're coming in here, or if someone were to attack you, you can block, boom, attack, boom, boom, boom. Whenever you use a cane, you should think of, or a stick, you should think of using the cane as stick like a chain in combat and chain like a stick. So you got to be very flexible with your cane, very flexible, very flexible. And the cane has an advantage over the stick because of the hook. So you can hook up here, you can hook a leg, you can hook under the groin, pull, back of the head, or if you're behind him, you can get his throat. Many different things that you can do with the cane. Now, also, what might happen is the person may grab your weapon. You may grab the weapon, try to fight with your weapon. What do you do at that juncture? Well, I'll just mention two possibilities. The first one is if you take your nails, and if he's grabbed my cane, this is solo training, man. Cane work, and like everything else, is always better with other opponents, but we don't have it today, so do the best I can. Take your nails and you stick it into his fingers, and you press them, the nails and his fingers against the wood. So if you look, it would be this nail right in this joint, right in that joint, pressing in here, and that can help with pain compliance. You can manage the person through pain. Now, if that doesn't work, another thing you might want to try is resist with the person. As soon as you feel his resistance, relax and strike for a vital point, either the eyes or the throat. So fight, and then just let it go, let it go. Let him have the stick, but get a vital point, eyes, get his throat, whatever's important, whatever a weak point or vulnerable point that you can have, I would go for. And there are many ways of using a stick, many ways. You know, there's many ways of using a cane, many different styles. I would just study styles and, you know, whatever you find is useful and it'll save your life. You know, that's quite important. Let's see, I'd like to also say that you should only use these techniques when you're trying to save life, either your life or other people's lives. And if anyone needs any ethical or moral guidance from the perspective of a warrior, and I would suggest you go to Jack Hoban at livingvalues.com. That's Jack Hoban, livingvalues.com. He's a good guy, and that's his area of expertise, and it's really worth looking into. So, troops, that's kind of it for today. I guess all I can tell you is a stoic statement. Amor fati, and it means you gotta love your fate. This is the fate we're all living now. You just gotta love whatever your fate is. You gotta play the cards you're dealt with, you know? And you have to try to live with dignity. You have to try to live with courage. You can't live a life in fear. Be as courageous as you can, and we'll all get through this. You know, I mean, you know, of all humanity is working on solutions. You know, there'll be a day that won't look so dark. Until then, take care, troops.